Okay, so now that we have finished our first crate, now what we're going to do is we are going to work on a second plastic crate. And I want to make it pretty close to something like this. We still have these references over here as like some inspiration. So we are going to make like a bit more of like a simplified version of this, just because these will be stacked close together and quite a lot of them. So I just want to keep it quite easy on the eye. I don't want to like overwhelm us with details because there's going to be even more stuff on top of it. You know the deal. So what we will do is I will first of all, let's go ahead and create like a rough shape layout, block out, and then we will just go ahead and like make the base shape, and then we will cut it in half and then start just working on this side. So it should be not too difficult compared to what we've done here. Now, what I'd like to do is I like to actually keep this one on right now and then create a cube. And the reason for this is mostly just so that we, target world toggle is still turned on. It's just that we get like a good sense of scale. So the first thing I would say is I think it's good if we make this the same width as this crate. And the reason for this is just because then in a square it will all fit like a little bit nicer. I think something like this is already good enough. Like it doesn't need to be 100% precise, but just get it like roughly the same width. Now the next thing would be, let's move this over here. And let's go ahead and let's decide on a height. So if we go for maybe like half the height, and then like move this one a bit back so that the thickness is a little bit less. There we go. So let's make it a little bit beefy. So a little bit thick. Having some contrast is also cool, because then what you get is when you, for example, stack two on top, you get this effect where one is a little bit higher than the other ones. And that just gives like an interesting method for when we start stacking. So that's why I'm not going to go perfect. Like I'm not just going to pick like 1/4 of this crate and just turn it into another one. But I think this is pretty good. So once we're happy with that, we can go ahead and right click, move to collection, new collection, and call this crate B_LP. And then we can turn off crate A, move this in the center so that's a bit easier to work with. Okay, so let's get started. I would say that first of all, let's just go ahead and start by creating like this little lip. And I think that we can actually just go ahead and do this inside of our mesh. So, that is pretty interesting. So as you can see over here, this is more of a bevel, and then they have like this roundness to it. That could actually be really interesting. I have an idea on how we can easily do that, like the quickest way. So we'll try that out. Let's first of all just go ahead and press Ctrl R, and let's place roughly where we want this lip to be for our end. So let's go for something like this. Now let's go ahead and press Ctrl B. Let's decide the thickness that we want it to be. Let's make it actually a little bit thicker. And if we make it a little bit thicker, and if we then go ahead and just press Q and extrude faces along normals, so then if we go ahead and just extrude this, and it's mostly about click, hold shift, so maybe go to your top view. Remember, it's a little button next to the one to change your view. Go to the top view just makes it easier, a little bit easier for us to read all of this. Now the next thing I want to do is I'm just gonna go ahead and I'm actually going to scale this in a little bit, so it's going to like taper off like this. And you know what, let's go back to our top view. Let's actually make it a little bit less on both sides. And the reason I want to do that is because I'm planning on like adding like some extensions on both sides. And if it's a little bit less, then we can just extrude those extensions. So first of all, press Ctrl R, one in the center, easy enough. So we just know that that one will be correct. I think we can actually even do one in this center and just only focus on like this one square. So having those lines in place, we are going to go ahead and we are first going to like create these little lips that we have over here. Now, what is quite interesting is that here you have one that goes out and it goes all the way around and then it goes in again. And I quite like that effect. Now, before I want to do that, I just want to go ahead and grab like one of these sides. You know what? Let's do this. I'm also going to grab one of this, and I'm just going to run it all the way along. And one of this. And first go in object mode, press Q, reset the transforms, just to make sure that everything goes correctly. And then press Ctrl B and use your scroll wheel and just give it like quite a few segments. And what we will do is we will later on extrude out of this, and then we will turn these angles over here into a bevel instead of like a round corner. And I think that could actually look quite interesting. So we'll see how it looks. It's all about trying it out. But yeah, that is, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and make it a little bit bigger. There we go, something like that should work. So we got those ones. Now if we just go ahead and let's see, so let's place 2 edges here. And then press Ctrl B and which one? Oh, we need to scale them out. I was already expecting that a little bit. That we of course need to have like the so that one goes down. You know what, I'm going to scale it out a little bit more, like this. And now just make it the size that you want it to be. So let's say that we go for something like this. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and scale these flat. Over here. Just to make, just to make our life a little bit easier. There we go. And now we just want to select these once again. And we want to go ahead and do another Ctrl B. And this is going to be like the angle. So we should be able to now select this. Oh, wait, of course, we still need to do this one. This one is actually inside of here, which means that I just want to place one edge. So as you can see, here it's inside of our mirror. Inside, on the edge of a mirror. That's what I meant to say. So I'm just going to scale this one in. And just decide roughly where we want our piece to start. So let's start it over here. And make sure that is roughly, here we want to make it a little bit wider. Just try and keep like an even number. Okay. And now we should be able to just, let's say, okay, so where's the center? The center is over here, which means we want to select this one and then this one. And I'm going to probably select it up until this point, and then we will later on extrude this out. So let's select this up until this point and move this out. And let's then select this side over here. Move this out. And then of course, yeah, we need to do some cleanup on this edge. By I'm not sure if I can like do some some measuring, but I'm not sure. Well, yeah, okay, let's try some measuring. How many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 faces. So let's do Shift A, mesh cylinder, and let's make it 20. So it's just 4 times 5, because this is pretty much like a corner, and that should be enough. Basically, what I want to do is I want to place this cylinder in this location, so that we have like one straight piece going over here and one straight piece going over there. Or one end, I should say. Something like this, I think, will work. No, wait, definitely doesn't. I think more like this and this. There we go. See? So now here it just ends on 2 corners. And now all we need to do is select this piece and just do like a movement and move this around. Now, I'm not sure if we just want to go ahead and place like some more segments here. That could actually be beneficial. Or if we just want to kind of like move these pieces. I think we are only missing like one segment, which is a bit of a shame. However, actually, if we move this one here and this one here, because this one is straight, which means that technically we should just be able to move this like this. And let's delete this. There we go. Perfectly round. Great. Okay, so that has like a lip that goes around here. And then later on, when we mirror it, it will go along the other side, which is totally fine. Maybe at this point it is actually... Don't know what I pressed there. Select this, press 3. And what I was going to say is maybe at this point it's actually easy for us to just Alt-X and select up until this point. Select these sides and just press delete. Is that correct? No, that's not correct. We want to deselect this edge over here. There we go. Delete. Yeah, that should do the trick. So now we only need to focus on this one edge over here. Okay, let's go ahead and let's make this a bit more interesting. Let's select this edge around here. And I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to press Shift E. And then I'm going to scale this in. You know what? Yeah, let's scale this in. Shift E. Scale this in. No, you know what? Let's not do that. Let's instead, once we've scaled this in, so is this unique? Yeah. Let's press Q and do an extrude along normals, just because it's a bit more precise. Like that. And then scale it in. There we go, so that we get like a little loop like this. Don't worry about this point over here. For now we will just delete these faces. They always are left over when we do inserts, when there's an open face. You get used to it. So you can just delete it, and then at the very end we will just like scale this flat just to make sure that everything is correct. So let's see, we have done those pieces, that's fine. So now I think the best thing, maybe we can first work on this. I'm thinking about... basically, I'm thinking about if we maybe want to make like a lip inside of here. Because we do have quite a bit of space. So what if we like place like one edge around here. Let's move this forward so that it all fits. And now select this, Alt Shift, double click. And just extrude this like in. And that should be enough once we have our high poly to look like something's going in. Just in the off chance that you want to like have this crate, or that you can see this crate from the bottom or something. Maybe you have like a very low angle of the crate and you can only just get a glimpse of it. If that is the case, it's just easy for us to just have like a little insert over there. So let's now first start with some of these bigger details over here. Now to do those, we would need to probably select this, Ctrl B, and give this like a, so I'm just trying to make it pretty much the same as the bottom. Yeah, that should work. So just give it like an extra side around here. And now we have one lip in the center and one in this center, and then also one in this center. So here one. Yeah, it's a bit annoying with symmetry, but we can do it. Let's do Ctrl R here, and so we are going to do Ctrl B and place here one. Let's make it this thick. If it is this thick, of course in the symmetry we need to go half that thick, so we need to just place like one edge around here. And place one edge around here. There we go. Okay, so that should work. So now let's say that we have this one. What are we going to do with it? We are most likely going to just extrude this in. Yeah, let's do that. Let's go ahead and just press K. Let's move this down, and I'm going to show you another little trick. Which, well, it's not that much of a trick, but basically these edges, try to move them down straightly, but I'm going to show you how to straighten them out even more. But we of course just want to have this as like a continued loop. And so once you have this done, just scale it. So actually it's not a new trick, it's just a different way of using it. So this one also scale it, set this to 0, and this will just make 100% sure that it is completely straight. Like that. Okay, so we've done those pieces, which means that now if we just select these faces, and probably also this one. Yeah, I think something like that should do the trick. Now what I want to do is, I'm not sure, so basically what I'm thinking about is it angles off like that, but that's really annoying around our circle. But however, we could just do it only here. So we could like give it like a little angle like that. And I think that does, yeah, that will probably look nice. So, oh wait, there's a lot less space here. So let's just select this and move it a bit closer. Select this one, angle it a bit. And unfortunately it didn't save our selection, so we just need to go ahead and reselect that. There we go. And now just go ahead and press Q. Extrude faces along normals. Extrude this in. Not too far, something like this. And that should pretty much do the trick. Proportional editing probably doesn't, yeah, it doesn't do anything in this specific case. I'm gonna go ahead and now first of all delete these side faces. Yeah, I'm just thinking about how we could make this look more interesting. I have an idea. It's just that it's time consuming, and when making tutorials I don't like to do time consuming things just because, yeah, they become a bit boring. Select this edge, move it forward. There we go. Just to create like a little bevel. Same over here. We can just select both of these, scale those in, create a little bevel, select this, scale this in. And if you want, actually, it's also just for consistency, scale that one in. There we go. Okay, cool. So we got those pieces. Now the next step would be for us to place within this one and this one a loop like this, and I think that we can just create like some kind of an interesting extrusion, and that should be fine. On this side we need to, don't forget here, there's like this little extra piece which is quite interesting, which I want to do. So on this side we are going to make one here. Knowing that, what I'm going to do is I will probably, because this takes quite a bit of work, we will probably continue with that in the next chapter. So for now, save your scene. And in the next chapter we will just go ahead and continue with this.